about some football because we have a lot of questions for you.
So here we have a Super Bowl, and we have an offensive coordinator for the Chiefs who is a minority, and we have a defensive coordinator for the 49ers who is a minority. But we just went through a big hiring cycle in which a bunch of highly qualified head coaching candidates who happen to be African American got no jobs. Your thoughts on that?
The Rooney Rule was put in place for this situation right here. It just was totally ignored this year. Eric Bieniemy, same class as me, 1989. We graduated the same year. I seen him in high school play as a football player. I seen him go to Colorado and ball, and I'm watching him as a great football mind work alongside with Andy Reid, and I felt like that was utter disrespect because for him to uplift Patrick Mahomes in 2 years, because it's Andy and him. It ain't just one person doing it, it's a group thing. And, you know, if you know anything about football, he needs him like he needs him. So for him to be not given the shot to even get an interview, that's total disrespect. I feel like some of these owners need to be checked because that's where it starts. It starts from the owners from up top. And if their mentality isn't right, it's never going to be right with the Rooney Rule. And we got to fix all of that by getting them in order and making sure that this happens, that these people get these righteous interviews when they earn those interviews.
Or get a fair, because look, we saw Jerry Jones interview Marvin Lewis. We knew Marvin Lewis wasn't getting that job.
Right.
We got to start with this tokenism, though.
Right.
Just bringing the guy in, okay, we checked it off, okay, we brought him in, when you have no realistic hope of giving this guy a true crack at getting the job. Because if you look at the divisional, 4 of the 8 quarterbacks were African Americans. We got an African American in the Super Bowl. Gonna have an African American MVP with Lamar Jackson. So in other words, you're good enough to play. You're good enough to be an offensive coordinator or assistant, but no, we ain't gonna let you coach him now. And we got scared. Remember, we got 5 officials in the Super Bowl. Wow. We gave you 5 minorities in the Super Bowl, but I thought officials are supposed to be, now you don't even supposed to know they're there.
Right.
But you brought that to our attention, though. You want us to know that they're there.
That you're paying attention to that side of it more than you paying attention to the rule that was put in place.
Right.
This rule was put in place so that way minorities could get that first shot and get that equal opportunity so that way you can look at their resumes and say, you know what? You do deserve a shot. Or, you know what? I'm not going to hire you because I feel like X, Y, and Z, but I gave you the proper interview. You're not even giving us interviews now. That ain't even cool, man. And these guys from college, they garbage. Some of them ain't even won in college, and then you're going to bring them up here to the NFL level and think that they're going to win? Like, I don't know who none of these guys is that was in college other than Urban Meyer, Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney. Like, if you ain't won it all, you ain't nothing. You ain't finna come up here and do nothing.
We got too many, like Joe Judges getting jobs where they come out of nowhere, out of the blue, and we haven't even heard of them. The head coach at Baylor gets a job and had done little to, I don't know.
Is it the copycat coaching league now? Because what we're doing now, when Sean McVay did his thing, the next move was, let's find us a young coach that's like him, and then that didn't work, and they were sorry this year. Then it's like, well, what are you looking for? Why don't you just give the best coach the opportunity to coach, regardless of what his background is or what his nationality is? If he's a qualified coach, give him the opportunity to coach. Like, for example, Mike Tomlin is a great coach. But if he wasn't given that opportunity, you would just look at him as a defensive coordinator or whatever his position was. But once he got that coaching spot and started to articulate and started to run his team and show you that he can win and do different things, then you have to look at that coach and say, well, wow, maybe we give another guy like that an opportunity, what could happen?
Like you did with the black quarterback.
Oh, wow.
You see, now they're showing, man, if we get that guy an opportunity, they're proving the validation. Look at Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes. Look at all these guys that are playing, like, wow. All they needed was an opportunity, a fair opportunity. Now, they're doing it. I think they should give some of these, for Eric Bieniemy not to get a head coaching job. And he's actually calling the plays because, Skip, for the longest time.
I'm looking at his mouth move.
For the longest time, what did they say? Yeah, he has the title of offensive coordinator, but Andy's calling the plays. Now he's calling the plays. Well, you know, we kind of like Joe Judge. Joe Judge was, not to say anything bad about it, especially because John Harbaugh started off that way.
He did.
But come on now.
Okay, speaking of your Pittsburgh Steelers. There's a still young man who used to be a Steeler who's from right here in Miami named Antonio Brown. And he's had a rough ride of late. And yesterday he was freed from sort of home, or what do they call it, house arrest, I guess. And yet still got a rough road ahead of him. Your thoughts on where he's heading?
I told you last time we was on the show and y'all asked me. I said he needed to get some help.
You did.
I'm not going to bash him or talk bad about him, but when you're looking at somebody like that, that's great, and then you watch these types of things happen, help is what's necessary. He's crying out for help, but he don't know how to get it, and his team is not strong enough to get it for him. Yeah. That's what he needs. He needs some mental help. He needs somebody to sit down with him and talk to him and get his life in order and put everything back in perspective. Because like you said earlier, when you're great and you have to make a transformation from not being great to figuring out what your second life is, that's when destruction could come in. He's not a rapper, a video guy, he's a football player. But he's trying so many different things right now, and people are encouraging him for the wrong reasons instead of saying, let's encourage this man to get some mental help, to see where he's at, to make sure he's okay, and then we'll see what the next move is.
It really is, Snoop. And the thing is that I'm a firm believer if you surround yourself with people that tell you what you need to know and not what you want to hear. You see the situation where he and the mother of his kids, and he's yelling those things, and you got his boys in the background, they co-signing it. I'm like, for real, bro? You do realize that's the mother of his kids. You do realize his kids are standing right there and they're listening. In one breath, he said, I love you. In the next breath, he's saying all these ugly things.
That's why I said help. He needs help. That sounds like help.
Yes.
That don't sound like somebody that's in their right mind. When you first had a dose of Antonio Brown, he was like, yeah, he's great. He's a diva, but he's okay. But then as time went on, he was like, hold on, something's wrong. Something is wrong, and it's getting out of control. And if we don't stop it, nobody's going to stop it. Because he feels it's acceptable now.
Snoop, what happened is that, and it happens in a lot, it's not the professional athlete is not the only, that it's a performance-based business.
Right.
The best programmers at Google gets the longest leash. And see, what happened with AB is that he started getting better and better, and the leash started getting longer and longer. Right. So instead of being 1 minute late for a meeting, he started showing up 5-10 minutes late. And then all of a sudden, he's like, forget the meeting.
It's okay, that's AB.
Okay, he's all of a sudden, he was late for practice for a little bit, then after a while, he said, forget practice. And it's like, well, you gonna play? You see, when you let that kind of behavior, because AB is he's the type of guy, Skip, he's not a guy that can rein himself in. Right. You have to rein him in. Basically, Antonio Brown is a car. He's taking all the wheels off the car and wondering why he can't get anywhere. Because you've sabotaged your own ability to ride.
Yes, sir.
So now, he's looking at everybody else. It's everybody else's fault.
Yep. Back to the Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger says he will be back next year. I saw good to great things from your young coming-of-age defense. What are your hopes for next year with your Steelers?
My hopes is that Ben is physically together, because when he is physically together, we tend to win.
You do.
And I think that the team is more structured now that we got a lot of that madness out of the locker room. The defense stepped up and showed that they really want to play.
Yeah.
We got to get some better receivers. I'm not even going to sit up here in front. Y'all missed the ball too much, and it is what it is. It is what it is, because they was putting it there and y'all wasn't making them catches. And I just feel like if Ben comes back, we got a good shot, because I don't know if Brady going to be in New England. And that's the only thing that we can't beat is the Patriots.
And speaking of Tom Brady, what do you want to see for him? There's a lot of talk about Los Angeles Chargers, some Raiders talk, right?
Honestly, what I want to see is the Patriots treat him like the king that he is. Like, why would you let him go away when he did all this for your organization? Like, and why would y'all play with him like that, knowing that he meant so much to your organization? But this is a business, so I get it. And I get it. And if they do him like that, because they did Montana like that, I've seen them do some of the greats like that.
Smith like that.
I've seen them do some greats like that where they sent him. Yeah. Like, be gone.
But here's the thing, Snoop. You can understand this. Okay, you with a record company, and they've been giving you peanuts all this time, and you had #1 album after #1 album and Grammy and #1 album, and all of a sudden you say, you know what, I want to redo this deal, but I want y'all to give me what old Drizzy Drake be getting. They're like, whoa, wait a minute now. All the other years we've been giving you chicken feed, you ain't have a problem with it.
Right.
But you on the way out. You see, he's taking less money all this time.
I watched him take less money to build a team. I used to be like, why is Tom Brady not the highest paid quarterback? Every year they used to show some weak quarterback getting this big old money and couldn't do nothing, and Tom would be like number 6 or number 7, but he would make sure that the money was evenly distributed on the team, so that way the team could be good. So that's why I felt like they should give him the same love back the way that the Lakers did with Kobe. When Kobe got to the end of his career, We knew he wasn't what he was, but they gave him the money to say, you understand me? We're going to break the bank behind you because we don't want you to go nowhere. We love what you gave to us. And that's what they should do to him.
They don't think like that. NFL is not like this. They're not like
especially the NFL.
The NFL's not like this.
How would Los Angeles take to Tom Brady, Chargers quarterback?
You saying the Rams or the Chargers?
The Chargers.
The Rams
you want to go Rams?
I'm just saying,
like you can go Rams.
I'm just saying, 3 points in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You just gave Jared Goff all that money. You gave him $112 million.
But what has he done? The coach is in his ear for 26 seconds. Like,
it's true.
Come on, man. Like, I can do better than that. If the coach tells me, all right, Snoop, look to the left. Okay, just do it. Okay, now throw the ball to the right. Are you serious?
But that's the problem that Brady's up against. He's taking money. He's taking less money. Basically for 20 years.
The Chargers ain't a bad look for him.
No.
Because their defense, let me say this, their defense is real.
Right.
When 33 get back there and 5-4 and all them get to going, they
Bosa,
real.
yeah.
And then on the offensive side, them receivers is dogs.
Yeah.
They got some dogs at receivers and the running back. If they treat Melvin Gordon right, that may be a good fit for Tom, and he could be right down the street from me.
There you have it.
Two-step Tommy, come on home, baby.
I like that. I think that works. There's a competitiveness in Tom. He wants to do it without Belichick. That's what I think. He wants to prove that he wants to do it.
You want to break up?
He wants to prove.
Coach Belichick definitely want to break up.
Are you serious?
Oh, absolutely.
But see, we can't read that as regular fans at home. We think it's beautiful.
No.
There's some
Because when you have this kind of
drama.
success, I need someone to say, I'm most responsible.
Are you serious?
When it was Coach Walsh and Joe Montana, we didn't really know who it was. But then Coach Walsh retired, and Joe went and got one without him. So who was the driving force?
See, I didn't think about it like that. I didn't think about the business side. I just think about the game.
No, I need the credit. What broke up Shaq and Kobe?
The credit.
Yeah, so I need to get that. See, Michael didn't have that problem. You knew it was Michael.
Yeah, Scotty knew his role.
Yes. Coach Belichick said, y'all don't want to give me no credit, but I was going to take Jimmy G. Win me a Super
Bowl. That was his boy.
They were going to take me Jimmy G.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Jimmy G.
Ooh, and he playing in the bowl.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, wow.